and welcome to another episode of Into the Minds of Madness. I am your certified scaredy cat, Paul McWhirter. Sitting across from me, your horror aficionado, Mr. Chris Dicker.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Very well.
We have just pretty much finished up Stephen King month, haven't we?
Yep.
We just have the little crown to put it on a little later this week.
A little creepy cherry on top.
Yeah, when the It movie comes out on Thursday. So we'll be there on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Checking that movie out and releasing a review for you guys.
As quick as we can.
As quick as we possibly can. We're going to turn it around as quick as possible.
I think we've hyped up this episode enough.
Yeah.
That we better, deliver it as soon as we can.
Exactly. So that'll be ready for you guys on probably Thursday night. So I guess for you Australians, probably first thing Friday morning.
Yeah.
And I guess for Americans, maybe like when you guys wake up.
Yeah, you'll get it
on Thursday. Yeah. So download that and don't listen, obviously, until after you've seen the film.
Yeah, because we will spoil the shit
out of it. So, but today we have a very special episode, which kind of came out of nowhere, kind of snuck up on us. This one,
something very different.
It was a very nice surprise.
Oh, pleasant surprise.
Very pleasant surprise. So, last week we were able to go and see a comedy show. You and I at the Gaelic Club, Greenlights Comedy, hosted by Alexi Toliopoulos and Nick O'Malley.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Thank you so much, boys, for letting us come and hang out after the show and do this episode of the podcast very impromptu.
Yeah, you allowing us to bug you and chat about horror movies for who knows how long.
Who knows how long after the show.
Led to this amazing little moment.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you would have read in the title, today we have guest Justin Hamilton on the show.
Justin Hamilton.
So he's a guy that he's a stalwart on the comedy scene. Been living in Sydney. He worked on Rose radio show. Yep. He worked on Whovians, the Doctor Who show that came on the ABC this year. Also with Rove.
Great short story writer.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Some of them are mind blowing.
Yes. So one of my absolute favorite comedians. He one of the first Australian comedy podcasts I ever listened to as well. Yeah. Can You Take This Photo, Please? Which you should all go and check out. And if you've seen Will Anderson in the last, who knows how long, generally Hamo's supporting.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So in this episode, we decided to release this as well because we nerded out on Stephen King with Hamo for a bit.
That's pretty much how it all kicked off. Like we just had a little chat and he came up to me saying, "Are you guys the horror guys?" Because by that stage, we've gotten around to everybody.
Yeah, we've been speaking to everybody.
Yeah, and I think he brought it up at some stage, and then bang, just kept going.
And then I just pulled out my recorder, and we just started recording. So that's what this episode is, guys. So you can hear me quite fanboying out a bit. We do gush about David Bowie as well. Probably mine and Justin Hamilton's mutual favorite artist.
You two take a nice little sidetrack there. I stepped back and
kind of let us fawn over Bowie for a bit. So thanks, Hamo. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Hope you guys enjoy the episode. So there is a bit of background noise. Like I said, it's after a comedy show.
Yeah.
So
a fair few people outside.
Exactly. Some wonderful humans. So we're more than happy to be in their vicinities.
Vicinities.
So so guys, enjoy this episode. We'll do some plugs at the end, and we'll see you then. Enjoy,
guys.
Stephen King love. Let's fucking do this. That's what we're frothing on at the moment. It's just Stephen King love. So the first one we did was Dreamcatcher. Riding the Bullet, which is from Everything's Eventual, the short story. Straight to DVD movie. Right. A fucking train wreck. And one of our favourite short stories. The book, like the short story, the 40, 50 pages or whatever it is.
And how many,
Fucking incredible.
How much of his stuff is, I think, actually, hang on. I won't say, what do you want to ask me before I go off on a tangent?
Go on the tangent.
Are you recording?
Yeah, I am, but I'm just recording just for the sake of it.
Oh yeah, good. All right.
Yeah.
I wonder about the thing with Stephen King is that he makes the mundane horrific. So therefore, it makes it hard to make the movies click. because they either make the movies too mundane or too horrific.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder, and this is the thing that gives me a lot of hope with it, I feel like Stranger Things came along at the right time, which was never a pastiche, but was like a love letter to that style of movie that when you go back, the movie's not very good.
Yeah.
But they've kind of shown a way to do it for a new mature audience. And when you're watching the trailer to it, like how much does it kind of remind you of Stranger Things in the right ways?
Music as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like Stranger Things, like gave him a kick up the arse to
Yeah,
to gear.
yeah.
'Cause I never thought that it would come out, the remake. And
Yeah.
It was in production hell for so
A long time.
That was half the reason, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why it took so long as well, because the creators of it were
Right.
scared of Stranger Things.
Right,
And
yeah,
they kind of held off for a bit.
right.
Yeah.
And you know the other thing, you know how I got back into Stephen King was like I loved him as a teenager, which is when you really fucking love Stephen King.
Yeah.
And then I probably somewhere in my early to mid 20s lost focus with him. And then the thing that brought me back to Stephen King of all things was Lost, the TV series, because Damon Lindelof is a big fan. And he talked about...
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, he talked about, the gunslinger and all of that, and the Dark Tower. But he also talked about, and for me this is quite ironic, he talked about The Stand. Now, The Stand, when I was...
just about to start reading.
Right.
Just
So
about
when
to
I was about 22, 23, I launched into The Stand when it was like 700 pages or whatever. And that was the one
Can
that
I
I
just say-
that was the one that I went, I'm out.
Yeah, the book, the stand that I just bought
Yeah.
is the
1300.
extended,
Right.
uncut. And I'm like, I
Well,
don't
this is-
want that version.
No.
It's ridiculous.
But this is the thing that you're going to really enjoy about this. So the 700 page one was the one that I went, I'm not into this. I think I'm done with Stephen King. And then because I was right into Lost and I loved the mythology and I loved that it was free to air television, that was highfalutin sci-fi, and I'm a big fan of the ending. I think the ending is great. And I was a big fan of Lindelof, and I was just like, and he's talking about The Stand, and I thought, well, fuck it, maybe I should give it a go. And then I found it, and the book was 1,300 pages, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. And I churned through it. And it reminded me what I loved about Stephen King.
Okay.
You know?
Because I finished reading it
Yeah.
maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
And I was just
Man,
like,
that is the
holy
best.
fuck, this is the best. Then we watched the 1991
Yeah.
last weekend.
Yeah.
And now I'm reading it again.
You're reading it again?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So
Were you a Dungeons and Dragons kid?
I never was.
Oh, you weren't? Yeah. I was a
Never ending
Dungeons and Dragons
story.
kid. Off the back of E.T. of all things. They played Dungeons and Dragons and E.T.
They do too.
Yeah, and I loved E.T. so much as a kid that I was like, what is this Dungeons and Dragons thing? And then Angus and Robertson's had the first box, and I bought it and was a D&D player as a kid. Sorry for bragging. But yeah, no, I get the
That's a
love.
good brag.
I get the
That's
love.
a good
I get the
brag.
love. Yeah.
Well, I grew up with Never Ending Story.
Yeah, right.
And which is the weird thing. When we watched the 1990 It TV show,
Right.
the main character in Never Ending Story is the main character is Bill. Is Bill
Right.
Denver.
Is he really?
So
Right.
the guy who plays the main character in Never Ending Story 2.
Yeah.
So I was watching this, I'm like, I know this kid. Where the fuck do I know this kid from? And I'm like, holy fuck, Never Ending
Oh,
Story 2.
yeah.
So just one of those other things that, like, as a kid,
Yeah.
like, Never Ending Story taught me what despair was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it
Well,
taught me what loss was.
Man, children's entertainment was very different when we were kids, and it taught you real things.
It did.
You know?
It did. So we talked about this in our last episode. The fact that, so there was Never Ending Story 1, Never Ending Story 2, which was in 92. Yeah, so 89, 92, it, Dark Crystal,
Oh, yeah.
Labyrinth
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
All that shit was so dark.
Oh yeah.
And
really
then
dark.
come 94, you get Free Willy and you get Neverending Story 3, which has Jack Black as the villain,
Yeah,
as
right.
the bully, and all of the characters, all the monsters from Neverending Story come from Fantasia into the real world. And that's when kids' movies started changing. That's when they stopped being these crazy universes where everything was terrifying into these crazy things coming into our world. No, look at them slipping over and stuff. That's what it was. It hit about 94, 95.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Which I find fascinating.
It's really fascinating, the people that read Stephen King as kids and now are creators themselves, and the things that they do, and the lessons they've learned from his storytelling. And it's very, it's pulpy in many ways, and it's, people are very disparaging about it by talking about it being populist. And the thing is that because Stephen King treats it as a job, where he gets up and he writes like a proper job. Right, yeah.
9 to 5, go to
You know what that means is sometimes there'll be some books that you don't really get into. But man, hang on, what was your first Stephen King book?
Mine? I think it was Christine.
Christine?
Mine was Everything's Eventual, the short story.
Oh yeah, right. I was I picked up a book that had it had Salem Slot, The Shining, and Carrie, but it had them in back to front order of what they came out. So I think it was The Shining, then Salem Slot, then Carrie. That's how I read them, which were his first 3 novels, but I read them back to front, and it was mind blowing. Like it was mind blowing, like how entertaining they were and how much you kind of felt like you just knew those people. That's what he's really good at. He gets the mundane.
Yeah, he can grab you.
Yeah,
Away,
and horror's so much more terrifying when it feels like it exists in a world where we're getting a latte and you're getting a snack, and then you're listening to Gary talk about some shit at his work that you don't give a fuck about, and then the horror kicks in.
But I reckon that's the best part of it as well, is when when the kids are heading down the barrens and they're explaining the barrens by themselves. And they all have a different description of the barrens.
Oh yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah. The only author that I feel like hits it, I feel like maybe he's technically a better writer, and the fantastic that happens in his novels is often shorter than what happens in a Stephen King novel. But go and check the work, so if you haven't checked it before, of Jonathan Carroll. He's such an unknown author.
That's
and
another one that's been said to me so many times.
Oh
I've
really?
never gotten
Yeah.
around to it.
Man,
Okay.
he's so good, and he writes fascinating books, and he's a big influence on Neil Gaiman, as Stephen King was as well.
Interesting.
A Game of You was dedicated, if I remember correctly, because I'm old. I got the original issues when they came out. But I think A Game of You
He's not far away, I promise you, he's not far away.
A Game of
As
You
in
was.
from the issues.
Oh right, yeah, right. But A Game of You
comic
was.
book fan, comic book
Oh
fan.
yeah,
Right here.
yeah.
Right
Man,
here,
it's
right here.
it's the world to be in.
Yeah,
But A Game of You was dedicated to Jonathan Carroll.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Stephen King and Jonathan Carroll were both a big influence on Neil Gaiman. And when you read American Gods, they both read like a hybrid of one of their novels. For me, anyway.
What's your favourite Neil Gaiman?
My favourite Neil Gaiman. Let me have a think. You know what? To give you a slightly personal story, Like, I'm a massive David Bowie fan. I saw David Bowie for the first time in 1983.
We need a second opinion. I need to talk to those people.
Oh, hang on. I'm gonna give a quick David Bowie story and then I'm right over.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I can never break up a David Bowie story.
I'm so sorry.
I'll come straight over though and give the second opinion.
This guy is awesome.
But this is my explanation. I saw David Bowie. Mum took me to see him in Adelaide in 1983, and I became a fan from that moment on. Like proper fan, like super fan. Guess what? I've got all 3 Tin Machine albums, and you know what? I like them.
I love Tin Machine.
Yeah.
I really love Tin Machine.
Mate, if you don't know your dad, I'll adopt you. Let's make this happen. But anyway, when Sandman first came out, three issues into Sandman, I said to my friends, I think Lucifer Morning Star looks like David Bowie, and all my friends hung shit on me. Oh, you fucking see David Bowie in everything. Anyway, it turns out he based Lucifer on David Bowie, right? So I'm a big fan of Seasons of Mist.
Okay.
Where Dream has to go down into hell and confront Lucifer. And it was, it has, have you read it?
No, I can't say
Have you read it?
No, I
Oh,
haven't,
okay.
no.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but the confrontation is so not what you expect, and it's perfect.
Okay.
And it looks like David Bowie.
Right.
So Neil Gaiman's written lots of brilliant stuff, lots of beautiful stuff, but that's always my favourite.
I have to say, like, I'll close this off with this.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of you for so long, Justin.
Oh, have you? Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
I actually came and I saw you solo at the comedy store. It was
Oh.
like a few years ago.
Shit. That was like November last year. Was that November last year?
Year before.
Was it? Oh,
Couple years
right,
ago,
right, yeah. Fuck.
But when Bowie died,
Oh, yeah.
I honestly don't have that many friends who are that into David Bowie.
Oh, man.
But when it happened, I was actually sitting over there with my friend Mitch, and when I found out, I started crying and
Oh, yeah, I get it, man.
and went into his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then later that night, I didn't know who else to contact, but I tweeted you and said, "You're the only other person who I can think of who's feeling the same way as I am."
Oh,
right now."
man.
And I just said,
Do
"Power
you know?
to ya."
So do you know what happened was when he died, I was about to do my first gig of the year, and I was working on some new material for my new show, and I went to tweet it, and then it came up on Twitter. Like while I was sitting there, I literally watched it come up that he died, and I thought that his thing had been hacked. Because I just
what
spent
I
that
thought.
whole weekend thrashing Black Star. Like I had fucking thrashed it.
And the first website I saw was a website I did not
Right.
agree with. So
Right.
I didn't check their sources.
Right. But you know what's weird was because my mum took me to see David Bowie when I was 11 because she thought I might like him. And so I called, I'd been listening to the album that weekend, and I'd called her and I was saying, I've been listening to the new Bowie album. She said, "What do you think?" And I said, I really love it, but there's a song on there that really upsets me. And she said, "Which one?" Is Dollar Days. And I was saying, man, there's something about that song that just kind of makes me feel, like, kind of reminds me that he's closer to the end than he is the beginning.
There's something about that.
Like,
song.
yeah, and it's so beautiful, but then he died. You know, I had that conversation with my mum on the Sunday, and that happened on the Monday. And I know it's really weird for people who might not be into things, but, you know, the music of David Bowie had been a constant soundtrack and a companion to me from the age of 11 to now. And it's not, you're not getting upset because you know the person directly, but what you're getting upset about is the fact that they brought you a lot of joy, and you feel like I know this sounds weird, but I just felt really bad for everyone who was friends with him. It's like, fuck, that's really depressing. But I've had some moments where I've had some contact with Duncan Jones on Twitter, and it's I find it really hard to like, I often think that the best thing that I've done in the last 10 years is not lose my shit and say, Keeks was written about you. So I've always thought, yeah, nice one, Hamo. You can be a grown up now and again. But yeah, no, you know, it's good to love people who produce art that you enjoy, and it's good to get into that art and you know, you learn from it. You know, like I discovered H.P. Lovecraft because Stephen King was a fan of H.P. Lovecraft. I discovered Lou Reed because David Bowie was a fan of Lou Reed. It's how you broaden your horizons, you know. So never stop being a fan. That's my advice to everyone.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Hamo.
Yeah.
I literally just put my recorder out.
Oh yeah, that was fine. I'll give you my number. Let's do a dead zone. Let's do a dead zone day.
So down.
Hamo.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in ages, so I'll be right up for it.
Yeah.
And I'll, you know, it might be a lot of fun when I watch it and I go, oh my god, this is nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sci-fi movie. Have you ever heard of the sci-fi movie Silent Running?
I've heard of that.
So, yeah, man, I saw it when I was a kid. It's a story about how the Earth is fucked, and they put all the rainforests on spaceships in space, and then through bureaucracy, this is the 70s, through bureaucracy, they decide they can't afford it anymore, so they decide to blow them up, and there's one dude, I think it's Bruce Dern, who just goes, fuck this, I'm gonna fucking save these rainforests, and he's got 3 robots that are nicknamed Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Anyway, I fucking cried like a motherfucker at the end of that movie. I bought it 7 years ago, and I haven't had the balls to watch it for 2 reasons. One is I don't really feel like crying, or 2, I don't want to watch it and go, this is terrible. I've made a terrible mistake. Anyway.
Pop that nostalgia bubble.
Yeah, yeah. The nostalgia bubble is the worst. Oh no, it's fine.
So that was Justin Hamilton.
Yeah.
Man,
That was a nice little chat with Justin.
that was so much fun. Yeah. As you could tell, I was having a lot of fun being able to chat with Hamo. And when he offered to adopt me, that was great. That was
a nice little touch.
Yeah, that was nice. Thanks, Hamo. I just have to excommunicate myself from my dad and then work that out.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork.
I think it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah. Even if we just call it unofficial, so we don't have to bother with all the paperwork. That sounds fun.
You just
me.
move in.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, follow Justin Hamilton at JustinHamilton_ on Twitter. That's the best place to keep an eye out for any gigs that he has, and I implore you to go and check him out. He is a seasoned comic. He's been doing it for so long that and he is the top tier, and you can hear it even just the way that he speaks on that episode. How like just measured he is. Yeah, you know, he's a wonderful human being. Just keep an eye on his Twitter. Go and check out his podcast. Can you take this photo, please? It can be quite sporadic, but once he's on a tear, and he'll just release episode after episode. So go and check that out as well. Nice. It's an awesome comedy podcast. A lot of heroes of the Australian scene. Like there's one with Tim Ferguson from Doug Anthony All Stars. There's multiple Tony Martin episodes, which are awesome. So go through the Late Show years, and oh man, it's so much fun. Yeah. It's really good. You got to check those episodes out. So we're done here for this week. Well, for this episode, I shouldn't say this week. It's only a couple days.
This is a little bonus thing.
Yeah, we just thought we'd throw this one out for you guys, and
take a bit of a step back and get ready for it.
Exactly. And as you can hear, I left on at the end where Hamo gave us consent to put this episode out. So
oh nice.
So I just decided to leave that little thing on the end there. So
we didn't just like hide a recorder next to
exactly. Yeah, and try and grab secrets from him. So so that's the episode. You can hit us up itsmumpod@gmail.com, which some people have been. We appreciate that. We'll go through some of those later on. And hit us up on Facebook as well. Just private messages there if you like, or follow us at itsmumpod on Twitter and Instagram. Yep. We're trying to get those a bit more active. So
they'll
get in on the ground level. So you can be like, I knew them when.
Way back when.
Yeah. So thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll see you later on the week for it. How
Oh,
exciting.
So exciting.
It's so close. It's so close.
Floating horror, guys.
Float in horror.